This is absolutely the best, most important thing I will do today. Probably all week, maybe all month, maybe all year, but definitely for this day. And I want to put it in context. My day began in Chicago. I visited the Chicago field office of the FBI, had to do a press conference with the superintendent of the Chicago police, meet with a whole bunch of high-ranking officials, and then I had to meet with my boss, President Obama, for 90 minutes. And I was supposed to do that meeting at the White House. He called together his national security team for a meeting today about something important. But I told him I had something really important to do, so could I get permission to appear by video from Chicago? Because if I didn't do that, I would not be here tonight. And so he gave me that permission. I like President Obama a lot, but this is more important than that. And so why is this so important? Because I think you represent the future of this great country and the hope for this great country. Because of what you are and what you will become. You inspire far beyond this great space, far beyond this great city. When I first met Mr. Cannon at FBI headquarters, I had the honor to give him an award on your behalf to recognize... And you know he's not a shy man. Have you noticed that? So he said to me, you got to come see my kids. You got to promise me you'll come. This is that promise delivered on 2 years later. I hope he'll have me back again at some point. Yes, sir. Because the FBI director gets a 10-year term to ensure that the FBI director is independent and stands outside of politics. So I want to do 2 things with you tonight. I want to share with you just some thoughts of 3 things I wish I had known better when I was sitting where you are, and then I want to recruit you, and then I'll get off the stage. And I'm only going to look at you. I'm not going to look at the rest of the people in the audience, because you're the most important people here tonight, so I don't mean to be rude to the others, but I'm here to talk to you. So 3 things that I wish I had known when I sat at the stage in life where you are. The first, I wish I had realized that communication is everything. I wish I had realized that as important as the substance is that you have in your head, it's all wasted if you can't effectively get into somebody else's head. I wish I had known enough to resist the challenge that people of pride face. Right? We're proud that we know things. We're proud that we're smart. You should be very proud of the way you are. But sometimes smart people look down on things they think are the tricks of communication. Right? Why should I focus on the way I speak, my tone, my pacing, my motions? Why should I focus on the way I write, how many paragraphs I use, the font I use? All that stuff seems beneath me. But here's the deal that I didn't realize then. Again, you can be the smartest person in the world, but if you aren't good at getting the other person to understand what you're saying, then it doesn't matter how smart you are, because you will accomplish nothing in life without the assistance of other people. So here's what I mean by the focus on the tricks of communication. Your voice is a weapon. It can be used in a couple different ways. It can be used to bore people to death, right? Or it can be used to hold their attention. Because here's the deal. The goal of every audience is to get away from the speaker. Right? The goal of every audience is to figure out what this guy's talking about, and then if you can't physically get away, go someplace in your mind. Right? Go out riding your bike, go out hanging out with your friends, go out swimming, and then come back and check on the guy who's talking, then go back out, then go back in, and go back out. Right? And meanwhile, I'm talking the whole time. And the part during which you're gone, I've been defeated because I haven't succeeded in getting what I know into your head. So the voice can be a weapon to keep you in the room. The way in which you use the volume of your voice. Whispering is incredibly effective because everybody who started to daydream thinks there might be a test, and so they come back when they hear whispering. Pacing is incredibly important. Slowing yourself down, speeding yourself up, using emphasis. I was a trial lawyer, and I'll show you how you can convey meaning without changing words. Imagine it's a case about a car wreck where an older lady gets hit crossing the street. The green car ran through the stop sign and hit the old lady in the crosswalk. 1. 2. The green car ran through the stop sign and hit the old lady in the crosswalk. The green car ran through the stop sign and hit the old lady in the crosswalk. The green car ran through the stop sign and hit the old lady in the crosswalk. And last, the green car ran through the stop sign and hit the old lady in the crosswalk. Okay? Now what have I just done? Without changing the words, I've just told you in those different sentences what I thought was important and you need to remember. Your voice can be an incredibly important weapon, so use it that way. Think about how you convey the words you want to speak. And here's the deal about humans. We all have words that clutter our speech, verbal tics. Everybody's got them, uhs or ums or likes sometimes, or what I do is come up with words I really like without realizing it. I went through an incredible phase where I said incredible every third sentence, right? You got to get that out of your speech, because what it does is it distracts people. So you got to get somebody you love. It's got to be somebody who you love and who loves you back to tell you if you're making weird sounds, right? To tell you, why are you saying all the time? Why are you saying all the time? So you can get out of that habit. And here's the other thing that's strange. The way you gesticulate, use your arms, and move can be an important way to convey meaning. It can also distract. The way you move when you speak makes a big difference. I do not move, and I'll tell you why. I'm 6'8", and when I was first starting out as a trial lawyer, my wife, who's an amazing person, loves me dearly, thinks I'm a fool, and so she tells me whatever she thinks. She's watching me practice for her a jury address. I'm speaking to an imaginary jury as I get ready for a trial. And I'd watch these shows on TV, so I'm walking back and forth like this, and I'm unbuttoning my jacket and standing like this. And so I finish, and she says, "It's good, but what are you doing?" I said, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Why are you moving around like that?" I said, "Well, I think that's what lawyers do." And she said, "You look like a giraffe in heat." She said, "Stop moving, you're 6'8", you frighten people. Right? Don't stand too close to them, and for goodness sake, do not move." But I can't stop myself from using my hands when I speak. But that's actually a good thing because it conveys meaning to you. Unless you're doing something weird, an Atlanta Braves chop or something, or grabbing your ears in some weird way, then you need people who love you to tell you stop that. Right? Communication matters. Writing clearly matters. Really smart people like to speak long and write long because they think if I wrote less, they would think I was less smart. But here's the deal. There is genius in simplicity. Somebody once said that true genius is the ability to take the complex, resist the simplistic, and deliver the simple. When I get briefed on something by somebody who really knows their stuff and they tell me something simply and plainly, I'm blown away. I think it was John Adams once wrote to Thomas Jefferson. No, Jefferson once wrote a letter, I think, to Adams. He said, "I'm sorry it's so long. If I had more time, I'd have written less." It takes tremendous work to shorten something. And my last piece of communications advice is the mother rule. If your mom asked you about your work, asked you when you come home from college, what's going on, what are you studying, asked you when you're at the FBI, tell me about your cases, and assuming she was cleared and all that, you would look her in the eye, you'd speak in an interesting voice because she loves you, but she's got things to do. You would not use fancy words, you would not use acronyms, you would not use words that distract. You would tell her in simple terms what this is about and why you care about it, and then you'd shut up, and she'd ask you questions. Why can't we communicate with each other that way? The very best people do. So my advice to you is the first thing I wish I had known is that communication is everything. And focusing on the so-called tricks of communication will make you a star. Second, I wish I knew what a reputation really was when I was in your space. Everybody gets, and especially when you're younger, that reputation is important. But most people, and they can actually get that it's like a mansion, right? You build it over the course of your life. But most people imagine, and I did, that it's a mansion, it's a building that gets built by one of those cranes, lowering in one room at a time, the prefab rooms, big room, big room, big room, and they build it that way. And each of those rooms is the important stuff you do, right? The important people you meet, or the big presentation you gave, or the big thing, the dinner you went to with all kinds of important people. That's wrong. Because your reputation is a mansion, but it's made of brick. Every single human encounter is a brick. Every single one. There is no picking the important ones. Because all a reputation is what everybody says about you when you're not there. And what's awesome about people is we talk about each other like crazy. Right? Every single human being that you have an encounter with will form an impression of you, and that will be a brick. You can't ever take a play off. Right? That's the challenge of that. It doesn't matter who the person is, you can't take a play off because it will affect you. Because too many bricks going on sideways, where you were mean to somebody or because someone wasn't important, you blew them off, a whole section of the wall of your house will go on crooked, and then it's too late to fix. Because that flaw is baked into the foundation of your building. So please understand that a reputation is critical. Because most people are not going to get a chance to really know your work. So what are they going to do? They're going to ask other people about you. What's she like? What's he like? They're going to assess the mansion that is your reputation. It's a brick mansion. Every single play matters. Live that way. It'll be a big thing. And the third thing I wish I had known when I was where you are is that not almost, everybody is faking it. Right? Everybody's faking it. Right? It wasn't until I grew up and had kids that I realized my parents had no idea what they were doing. Right? Because when I had 5 children, I was like, what do we do now? Right? How do I do this? Every single adult is faking it to one degree or another. Every single human being is afflicted with something called the imposter syndrome, which is the idea that if you really knew me, you wouldn't think I was so fancy. You wouldn't think I was so great. Or you would think less of me if you knew me the way I know me. Now that's actually a very healthy thing, because if you don't have that, you're an unbelievable jerk. So I think most people have that. But the reason you need to know that is so you don't find your own feelings like that to be disabling, because everybody else feels the way you do. They're just faking it. Inside, they're like, I hope they don't find out what I'm really like. Right? But once you know that, it's liberating, because it allows you to understand that everybody's struggling, everybody's worried about being exposed, everybody's worried about being embarrassed, and then you can relax and connect with people in a good way and realize that that feeling inside you, all of us have it. I'm the director of the FBI. I have it. Right? I worry, am I good enough? What are they going to think of me? All that kind of stuff. That is part of being human. If I had known that when I was in your place, I'd have been better off. So those are the 3 things. Communication matters. Reputation is a brick mansion, and everybody's faking it. Okay? So now I need to recruit you. Here's the thing about the FBI. Somebody asked me, would I explain how different we are in real life from TV? I actually think we're better looking in real life. There's a show on called Quantico. Have you ever seen it? Yeah. Okay. We're not naked that much during the day, by the way. Oh, my Lord. That stuff does not go on, okay? At the actual Quantico. We've actually, now that show's been renewed for another season, we've invited the writers and the producers to come to the actual Quantico to see what our men and women act like and what they do. Because to be honest with you, I sat at a table of our trainees and they were mortified. They just kept saying, sir, it's nothing like that. It's nothing like that. I said, no, I know. But here's what we're like. We are an unbelievably diverse group of people who have extraordinarily different responsibilities. Right? We've got special agents. Pretty familiar with that role. We've got, as part of the special agents, we've got people in specialized units like the hostage rescue team that does nothing but train to rescue people all the time. We got pilots. We got lab technicians. We got archaeologists who focus on nothing but bones recovered in grave sites to try and understand how old are these bones. That's all they do all day long. We've got people who are victim counselors, who spend their life trying to help people with the pain that they've absorbed. Right? We've got dogs that are trauma dogs, these unbelievably well-trained dogs who are trained to give comfort to people who are in pain. They're amazing animals. We've got engineers. We've got people who do nothing but surveillance. When you meet with one of our surveillance squads, we've got hundreds and hundreds of these people. They don't look anything like what you'd imagine, because their job is to blend in. So they're old, young, long hair, short hair, beards, women, men, all different backgrounds, all different dress. Their job is to follow spies, terrorists, and serious criminals and blend in. And we got engineers whose only job it is to figure out how we can hide things in machinery or in houses. We've got people who do everything in the FBI, but here's what they have in common. They all want to be part of doing good for a living. Now, you don't get paid a lot in the FBI, but you don't join up for the money. You join up because you want to do work with moral content. The mission of the FBI is a single sentence. It's to protect the American people and uphold the Constitution of the United States. That's what we do. Right? Our job is to protect people's civil rights. Our job is to rescue people from predators. Our job is to protect the country from terrorists. Our job is to fight spies in this country. They all want to be part of that mission because they understand how addictive and exciting it is to do good for a living. So my pitch to you is, at some point in your career, in your life, look for an opportunity to do that. And I hope it's with the FBI. Right? We hire a lot of people right out of college, then we grow them up into other roles. Almost nobody leaves the FBI. We're like a roach motel. That's not a great image, I suppose, but you get the point. Once you come in and you do this for a living, you can't let go of it. You can't let go of it. And so you stay for the rest of your career. But even if it's not with the FBI, I would urge you to do some service work. Right? Mr. Cannon has done a lot of things to make money in his life. I guarantee this is the most fulfilling, exciting thing he's ever done. Right? And why is that? Because he's doing something with moral content. I went to a great law school in Chicago, and a lot of my classmates just chased money. They went and they got jobs at fancy law firms, and I actually look on them. I've never said this to them, and I kind of ache for them. Because they've never tried, even when they could, to be part of doing something that's not about getting something for them, but it's about giving something to other people. Albert Einstein once said to young people, try not to become people of success. Try to become people of value. The problem in life is all the stuff distracts you. All the stuff gets smoke in your way, and you start thinking about the house, the car, the better job, the things that I need can obscure what matters in life. So here's what I say to young people, and I wasn't going to say this, but what the heck, I might as well depress you. I see a lot of bad stuff in my work, and so I do this because I know life is really short, and bad things really do happen to good people. And so I urge young people to do something that's kind of weird. I ask you to close your eyes sometime and imagine yourself old and gray and about to die. You see why this is depressing, but imagine yourself old and gray. I hope you're really old at that point. I hope I'm really old at that point. Close your eyes and look back on your life, even from where you are now, especially now, and ask this question. I'm about to die. Who do I want to have been? Who do I want to have been? Because if you ask it from that point, the smoke is cleared. Smoke is cleared. Houses? Really? Cars? Money? Plaques on the wall? Cool clothes? Who cares? From that vantage point, everybody's answer will be somewhat different. I know my answer. I want to have been somebody who had great relationships with the people around me, especially my family. I want to know my children, their children, and God willing, their children. And I want to have been somebody with whatever abilities I had, and you have a lot. I did something for people who needed me. Right? Maybe you can't do it for a whole career, but I did something for people who needed me. I would urge you to think about it that way, because I bet your answer will be similar to mine. That you will use the incredible talent that is manifest in all you've done, and it will be manifest in what you do, for something that is beyond wealth, right? That will offer you true meaning in your life. I hope that's with the FBI. Hope you come into the Roach Motel with us and do good, whether you're sliding down a rope from a helicopter with an automatic weapon, or you're looking at something under a microscope, or you're counseling someone who's struggling, or you're going through information to try and find the terrorists in a sea of dots. No matter what you're doing, even if it's not with the FBI, please choose the opportunity to be somebody of value, not somebody of success. So, there's nobody in this country who's better prepared for what I just urged you to do. That you are here shows me that you get it already. That you've been part of this is putting you on a rocket. Right? You can do whatever you want. You can change the world. Communicate clearly, remember what a reputation is, and know every single person you encounter feels just like you do. Right? Connect with them, seek an opportunity to do good. Right? I have 7 years, 3 months, and 2 weeks to go in my term. I hope I'll see some of you. As co-workers in that time. And even if you're not, I'm highly confident I will watch you change this country over the rest of my life. Thank you for what you are. Thank you for what you will be.